out of order, the most out of order. Now, today, I nominated James Comey, Jake Tapper, and Bruce Springsteen, and I've covered why throughout the radio broadcast this morning. But right now, who is winning in the out of order poll?
67%. Congratulations, James Comey. You are the Al Pacino Award winner. Is this our inaugural or is this our second?
No, we did it last.
Did we give away the Al Pacino Award, though?
Theoretically, yes.
Theoretically, okay.
Where does Jake Tapper? Where does Jake Tapper fall?
10%.
And how about Bruce Springsteen?
15%.
Wow. All right. So
Other
James Comey
was 8%.
And if you don't know why James Comey, won, well, stay tuned because I'm going to tell you why. Now let's move forward. So let's do a new poll, Daily Dan poll, where was it a mistake to have the entire budget in one big, beautiful bill? Was that a mistake? Because I think that is a legit question. I do believe that it is a legit question. And apparently there might be... Can you check our stream, KGB? Because people are saying the stream just croaked. Kind of like this one big, beautiful bill. Anyway, moving right along. And maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I'm getting notes on my phone. All right, moving right along. So we'll continue to watch that. I've got some audio from Mike Johnson that I'm going to play here coming up. Why not the big, beautiful vote? Well, and here's the problem. Because remember when Biden was president? I just want to say this because I was against the one big, beautiful bill from the very beginning. Remember when, and I gotta think back, but Biden was president. They were working on a budget. And the Republicans, the fiscal hawks, were like, listen, we need to divide up the budget by, if I remember right, by agency. Remember that? And then when we look at the spending by agency, we can figure out where we can cut. Where is the waste, fraud, and or abuse? And the Republicans were all in on this, right? I mean, it was like I had Desjardins on, I had Ogles on, I had all these people on talking about how the budget needed to be broken out into all these different agencies. Because it's impossible when you have one big, beautiful bill to make any major cuts. Because these omnibus spending bills, to me, I mean, this is why Washington, D.C. is so incredibly divisive is not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? When you have an omnibus spending bill, you have all of this money that is going into one big pot and you can't really make the appropriate cuts. This is why dysfunctional. This is why Washington, D.C. is so dysfunctional. Because you can't look at all of this stuff and figure out where you need to cut without looking at the individual agencies like the Republicans did a couple of years ago. Keith says it's one big ugly turd. 1394, Dan, you said it yourself. What will keep them in office? This is not what the people voted for. It is a shame. Sally says corrupt. Thank you, Sally. Oh, by the way, Sally brought up a great thing earlier, Joan. Remember when we were talking about the Trump gun, the Trump Glock? Mm-hmm. Sally reminds us, because I thought that was really cool. I want one. Sally says, remember, you're fired is Donald Trump's catchphrase.
Oh, that's right.
Very good, Sally.
Yeah, I like it.
Inept.
Was she being nice to you today, Sally?
What's that?
Was she being nice to you today? Isn't Sally the one that gives you heck?
With Sally, and I love Sally, with Sally, it depends on the segment.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes it depends on the word, whatever. Because if I say cutter, then it triggers Sally. But that's okay. Whatever. It is 7:15. Real quick, time to check the roads on WTN. Thank you, Mason. Weather today, high of 87 and strong storms tonight. Saturday, high of 88, scattered showers on Sunday, high of 84 and scattered showers. So I feel like I'm ricocheting all over the place. So basically, the new Daily Dan poll, KGB, that I want is, are you for or against the one big beautiful bill? That's what I want to know, because I'm seeing a lot of people that are against it. So that's number one. Number two, you know what's interesting about, and we see this all the time, don't we, Joan? Correct me if I'm wrong. But only in Washington, D.C., can you have one side of the aisle say, oh, yeah, this one big, beautiful bill is going to save $1.5 trillion. Then you've got the other side that's saying, this is going to cost us $8 trillion, right? So which is it? Is it going to save $1.5 trillion, or is it going to cost us $8 trillion, right? Well, it depends on how you're looking at the budget. If you're looking at short term, then, yeah, they can say that it's going to save $1.5 trillion. That's part of what Mike Johnson is saying. With one big, beautiful bill, it'll save $1.5 trillion. But then when they extend it out, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, 5 years, sometimes they'll do 10-year projections to say, well, it may save 1.5 in the first year, but then you project out 10 years and it's going to cost us $8 trillion, right? I mean, these are the games, these are the narrative games that everybody plays, and it drives me nuts. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, he was talking about this with, I think this is Larry Kudlow, and he says it's going to pass the House, it is going to pass the Senate, and it is going to be huge.
It's going to pass the House, it's going to pass the Senate, and it's going to create an economic boom unlike anything that we've ever seen. The budget hawks are a little bit antsy about, oh, this costs too much. But the CBO score that they're basing all of that on is only 2.1% near-term growth and 1.8% growth in the long term. I'm highly confident, as we were in 2017, that you're going to get at least 3% growth. If we get 3% growth out of this bill, Larry, we just did the numbers you asked us to, it increases revenues over the next 10 years by more than $4 trillion. Wow. That is by more than the cost of this bill.
Wow. See,
this is a bill that pays for itself with 3% growth.
All right, so there you go. And my thing is, and Joan, you used to work at the Wall Street Journal Radio, right?
I did.
So you and I both know that they can play with the numbers 15 different ways to tell whatever narrative they want.
Yes.
So when it comes to these things, I mean, I don't mean this, no disrespect to any of our fine Congress people, but I don't really feel like everybody's going to have their talking points. So I was going to have somebody on, canceled, not even going to bother, because everybody's going to have their talking points. I'm just going to blow through all of that, and I don't need to waste the airtime. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to wait and see what ultimately ends up in this bill. But we have the National Economic Council Director, Kevin Hassett, that is saying that this will pass and that it is going to stimulate our economy. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Will it save $1.5 trillion or will it spend $8 trillion? It depends on what projection you are using. Will it raise the debt ceiling? I believe that it will. Will it extend Donald Trump's tax cuts? I certainly hope so. But we'll have to wait and see ultimately what happens with this big, beautiful bill. And real quickly, KGB, so that is the new question. Like us on YouTube, if you would, like and subscribe as well, please. And the poll is
the one big beautiful bill a good idea? Yes, 65% to no, 38%. So they still believe in it.
So 68% believe that the one big beautiful bill was the right way to go, even though it wasn't the right way to go when Joe Biden was in office. I want to make sure that everybody understands the hypocrisy, because I don't want people to say, well, when Biden was president, you said. You're right. I did say, and I'm saying it now as well. It is 7:21 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. All right, Joan Jones is in the WTN Newsroom. Joan.
Yeah, we've got the timeline of when we can expect things to start rumbling around here with storms. Also, it has happened again. Some air traffic control is reporting an outage. Once again, we've got that story coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here at 721. I had a really cool experience yesterday. I had a drone over my house.
On purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
It was my friends at North Point Roofing. So, not that anybody cares about my problems, but I do have some roofing issues. And so when I met with the folks at North Point Roofing, one of the things that they said is we don't send an inspector onto your roof. What we do is we actually take drone photos, and we take all of these photos and we put together a report for you on the shape of your roof. Now, the reason they do this, there's a number of different reasons why they do this, but one of them is because there have been instances where some of these air quote inspectors will fabricate damage or lie about damage to get a job. Well, you take that aspect of it out, and you've got a drone up there, and the drone's not going to lie. Sometimes inspectors do. And that is why North Point Roofing Systems, this is one of the only roofing companies that does this. They may be the only one that does this. And so if you need a roofer, North Point Roofing Systems, this is the company that you should go through. It's the company that I'm going through. Now, they do have the distinction of being a GAF Master Elite Roofer. Now, GAF is the largest shingle manufacturer in the country. And North Point Roofing Systems, they are specifically trained as the best roofers in the country. As a matter of fact, only the top 1% of roofers have this added training. North Point Roofing Systems does. They also, by the way, have an automatic 5-year warranty on workmanship and offers 10 and 25-year warranties as well. Check them out today, northpointroofingsystems.com. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out, northpointroofingsystems.com. .24, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Contours, friends, Father's Day is coming up. And if the dad in your life has a dad bod that he'd like to get rid of, help him out with a belly buster special from my friends at Contours. Just $99, you can get him one of those belly buster specials from Contours. If you call right now, 615-236-9960, just $99. First 10 callers right now, you get that $99 special, 615-236-9960. Doesn't have to be just for dad, friends. It can be for you as well. You know, most folks lose at least 2 inches in the middle. Now, I did. Others have as well. Taking advantage of Contour's red light technology. It's not only incredibly unique, but also effective. Now, folks have been coming from all across Middle Tennessee to check them out. You can go to their website and see how their belly buster therapy featuring red light technology actually works. And again, right now, take advantage of that Father's Day special. First 10 callers right now gets that special price, $99. That is a huge savings off the regular price. And by the way, you yourself can also get that special price as well, just $99. The Belly Buster Special, 615-236-9960, ContoursLLC.com. 729, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you. You know, it's interesting. We have what I find a fascinating conundrum here. And that is that according to the Daily Dan poll with the Big Beautiful Bill, one Big Beautiful Bill, most people are in favor of the Big Beautiful Bill, which, I mean, is fine. I am against it. However, the folks on the text line are mostly against the Big Beautiful Bill. Isn't that interesting? Because usually the super text line will match what we see on the Daily Dan poll. But it seems like the super texters are against it, and the people on YouTube taking the poll are for the one Big Beautiful Bill. I do find all of that interesting. Do you know what else is interesting, Joan?
What's that, Dan?
Donald Trump is responding to James Comey.
Oh, good.
So I have not yet heard it. We'll discover what the president had to say coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 7:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Severe thunderstorms arriving in the Nashville area this afternoon. Should be around 4 o'clock. But another round later on appears to be even more serious.
Here comes the more widespread round of showers and thunderstorms late this evening, heading into our night. Tonight should be right around the Nashville metro around 11 o'clock, maybe about midnight at the latest. Quickly moving down in southeast middle Tennessee by about midnight, 1 a.m., and then out of the mid-state quickly by about 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro there. Keep it here on WTN for all the latest updates. Well, it has happened again. Air traffic controllers in Denver now lost communications with planes for about 90 seconds earlier this week, and they had to scramble to use backup frequencies. Here's NBC's Tom Costello.
Well, they still had radar contact, and the FAA says controllers used another frequency to relay instructions to pilots. Aircraft remained safely separated, and there were no impacts to operations.
Now, this one was not a radar issue, unlike the others that occurred at Newark Liberty Airport in New Jersey. Still, all of this very concerning. And you may notice a big police presence along the Cumberland River today. Now, don't panic. It's a training mission taking place between military and law enforcement officials. An exercise, they say, helps them to prepare for potential disasters. Tennessee National Guard says these exercises help to strengthen communication, coordination, and response capabilities. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:32, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Dan Mandis here with a question for you. If your roof is, what happens if there's a disaster that hits your home? Well, my friends at King & Associates Insurance, they are looking out for you. Now, if your roof was destroyed in a storm, like a storm that we've got coming here in the next couple of days, how much of that replacement cost would your insurance company cover? Now, if you don't know, you really do need to ask, because some insurance companies, they refuse to pay full replacement cost. They're going to deduct money for an older roof, and this means that the insurance company will depreciate how much they pay for your roof claim. An older roof, they're going to pay you less, and that could leave you on the hook for thousands of dollars. So, friends, you got like a 20-year-old roof, and it gets destroyed in a storm, one of the upcoming storms this weekend. Well, they're not going to give you what it's going to cost to replace that roof. And see, that's the problem, because that means that you do have a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. Now, King & Associates Insurance, they will pay full replacement cost. So call them. They have a huge focus on customer service, 615-329-8121. If you're not with King & Associates, why don't you check out your current insurance company and find out what their policy is on roof replacement. 615-329-8121. Get your royal review at tkinginsurance.com. 734, Dan here. A great Tennessee company, D.T. McCall's. They are here for you, and they have been for a long time. Great prices, great selection, outstanding value. That's what you get at D.T. McCall's. I've been telling you for years about these folks. They've been helping people out for 3 generations here in Tennessee. And if you need it, they've got it at D.T. McCall's. Indoor furniture. If you've got a room to fill, go to D.T. McCall's. Of course, you know all about their lawn mowers and those outdoor lawn equipment. They've got a great selection and value as well. Prices for any budget, appliances, if it plugs in, they've got it at D.T. McCall's. And they've always got specials. They are always looking for ways to save you money. Now, front page of their website, I was just there last night. Specials on great appliances, all the best brands as well. Washer and dryer sets, dishwashers, and a whole lot more. D.T. McCall's, they've been doing it for over 100 years with a focus on customer service. And if you buy it, they'll deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com.
Okay, delays starting to really get underway here on 24 as you're making way to the merge there with 65. It's pretty slow this morning. And you've got delays as well on 24, the westbound lanes. They begin around the Smyrna area. And also some delays on 40 now. Those delays on 40 backing up to, let's see, around the Earth Heart area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.736, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Appreciate you listening for a Friday. Dan here along with Joan Jones and KGB. Jeff Malinoff is producing. By the way, coming up, an update on the plane.
That's so funny. I just looked at something and
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Joan, we can converse together.
Would you like to do that?
Sure, I absolutely would. Couple of things real quick. Former FBI, this is the biggest story today. Former FBI Director James Comey calling for violence against President Trump. This broke, I think it was last night, at some point late afternoon last night. But James Comey, former FBI Director, posts on his Instagram a photo, a bunch of seashells that spelled out 8647. And he captioned the photo, "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." Now, break it all down, friends. 8647. Most people understand, I believe all people understand, that 86 means eliminate. 47, the President of the United States. From the Daily Beast, many White House officials and allies of President Donald Trump claimed that the message was a call for his assassination. Is former FBI Director James Comey calling for the elimination or the assassination of Donald Trump? Many people, I do, believe that he was. And many people do believe that Comey was doing just that. As a matter of fact, James Comey eliminated the post, or 86th the post, a little bit later. Comey deleted the post within hours and wrote in a follow-up statement on Instagram, "I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me," James Comey says, "but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down.
Wait, he said he just these shells happen to be there in that particular
Just
order?
happened to be there.
Just happen to be there.
That's what he said.
And they just happen
to say the numbers.
Right.
8647.
Just happen to be on his beach walk.
I would like to call
Things
for
that never happened for 10,000, Alex.
I would like to call for an investigation of those shells.
The shells are...
Somebody pick up those shells. I bet you James Comey's DNA is all over it.
I bet somebody's Ring camera has recorded video of him doing it.
The shells are trying to assassinate Trump.
I just think that clearly this is what he tried to do. He did the whole shell thing, and then he posted it. And people are saying that, this is a dog whistle, right? Republicans are always accused of dog whistles, right? We talked about this earlier, and people asked, what is a dog whistle? A dog whistle basically is a signal, like a bat signal. It's a signal to other people that are like-minded that it's time to act, right? I mean, that's at least how the left explains it. When it's conservatives, they are accusing of sending out dog whistles. Now, for James Comey, I don't believe him for a second. It is clear that he put these shells down to say 8647. And by the way, we had all of those protests a while ago where, they were talking about the Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Remember that whole thing, firebombing the Tesla dealerships? And a lot of their signs had 8647 on it. 86, eliminate 47, Donald Trump. So does it mean just, try to eliminate him through impeachment? Or is James Comey actually calling for the assassination of Donald Trump? Now, I love that a lot of the media is trying to say, oh, this is just the Trump administration and MAGA world, because that's what they like to say when they are disparaging Trump supporters. MAGA world is overreacting and saying that James Comey is calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. Many within Trump's orbit, from the Daily Beast, many within Trump's orbit have understood the 47 to represent Trump's current term as the 47th president of the United States. Meanwhile, 86 is the common restaurant vernacular for get rid of something or to ban an individual from the establishment. Although, again, many in Trump's orbit have tried to argue that the phrase is an explicit call for someone to be killed. Again, Comey deleted the post within hours and wrote in that follow-up statement on Instagram, he had no idea that people would see that as calling for violence. Although here's where I also call BS, is that he says that he assumed 8647 was a political message. Well, if you assumed that it was a political message, but you didn't know what it meant, then why would you post it on Instagram, you dolt? I mean, all you got to do is Google, a quick Google search on 8647 to know that these nut jobs that were out there, wanting to murder Elon Musk or murder Donald Trump or firebomb, Tesla owners and Tesla dealerships, that they had 8647 on their signs. And so Donald Trump has now, Aaron sent this to me. Thank you, Aaron. Donald Trump is now commenting on this because I'm calling BS on this. I mean, obviously, James Comey knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant. And he did it for a reason, and he was hit so hard. Because people like me, and they like what's happening with our country. Our country has become respected again, and all this. And he's calling for the assassination of the president.
Obviously, he apologized and said he doesn't.
Well, he
wasn't
apologized because he was
violence. But
look, he's a very bad.
What do you want to see happen? What do you want to see happen?
I don't want to take a position on it because that's going to be up to Pam and all of the great people. But I will say this: I think it's a terrible thing, and when you add his history to that, if he had a clean history, he doesn't. He's a dirty cop. He's a dirty cop, and If he had a clean history, I could understand if there was a leniency. But I'm going to let them make that decision.
I love that he wouldn't take a position on it, because then, of course, he's going to be accused of interfering and demanding, investigations and arrests and so forth. I like the fact that he says that as president, it is my opinion that former FBI Director James Comey knew exactly what he was posting when he posted the shells of 8647. By the way, if you want to have some fun, go on the socials and search this. All kinds of people have shell formations of their own for James Comey. Some people have shell formations that say things like go to HE double toothpicks. You know what I'm talking about? So all kinds of, F you, all kinds of messages for James Comey in shell formation. So I like what Trump had to say. I like that he is using a very measured tone. And Trump is right about Comey being a dirty cop. I mean, I went through all of this earlier. But it was James Comey's FBI that started the Russia collusion investigation. He's the guy who leaked the Steele dossier meeting with Donald Trump to CNN. There was the entrapment of Michael Flynn, Trump's national security advisor, which got the whole darn thing started of Russian collusion, led to the Mueller investigation, et cetera. Trump fired James Comey. He absolutely deserved it. And he also wrote a book blasting Donald Trump. So to me, James Comey is a dirty cop. To me, he also has an axe to grind with Donald Trump, and also he's selling a book. James Comey is selling a book. I guess it's going to be out next week. I'm not going to give it any publicity, but obviously, dude has not been relevant in years. Now he's trying to write a book. He's trying to sell a book, and so suddenly he writes out in shell formation, 8647, eliminate 47, calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. Tulsi Gabbard was apoplectic about this. I've got her comments coming up next. 7:45, time to check the roads on WTN. .47, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. As far as your weather goes, it is going to be a little dicey, actually a lot dicey. Weather today, high of 87, strong storms beginning around 4 o'clock this afternoon. And Joan, we were talking earlier, these storms are supposed to go throughout the night, correct?
Right. So the 4 o'clock this afternoon is kind of when it all begins. We could have some storms then, but the bigger batch of storms may be around 11 o'clock tonight. Those are the ones that Stefano is saying, they'll be more widespread, maybe the most severe.
Okay, very good. We'll keep an eye on all of that here on WTN. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. So Tulsi Gabbard, she was on with Jesse Waters last night, and she was asked about James Comey and 8647, and she's really ticked, as she should be. This is not MAGA world is upset about something very minor that the former FBI director did. No, this is something that needs to be investigated, and dude needs a good set of handcuffs.
Absolutely not. That is a ridiculous and insane statement to make, certainly within this context, but especially coming from a guy who's the former director of the FBI, a guy who spent most of his career prosecuting mobsters and gangsters, people who know and execute other humans and use this exact lingo of 86.
Yeah, because, Jesse Waters asked her, okay, so do you buy the notion that he had no idea that 8647 was akin to violence? Because that's what James Comey says. Had no idea. I don't believe him. I'm calling BS. So does Tulsi Gabbard.
Comey himself admitted in his follow-on message that he knew that this was a political statement. Well, the only reason he knew that was because a little over a month ago, a bunch of anti-Trump, anti-Elon Musk protesters were proliferating the use of this 8647 slogan, which was a veiled call to action to murder the sitting president of the United States.
She's right. Somebody please tell me where Tulsi Gabbard is wrong. She's not. He should be put in jail. And people are saying this is a dog whistle. Donald Trump has gone through not one, but 2 assassination attacks. And yet Comey decided that it would be a good idea to send out this 8647. And so I think there's 2 things at play here. Number one is Comey is trying to sell books, make himself relevant, get himself in the headlines. That's number one. But number 2, I mean, it's the oldest trick in the book, right? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, make this post, and then I'm just going to say, oops, I didn't know, I'm old and I'm confused, and I'm going to delete and apologize. I mean, that's the game that they play. All you got to do, go to YouTube, go to X, and look up 8647, and you'll see all of these people on the left that are out there with the signs that say, down with Elon, down with Tesla, Trump's a dictator, fight the oligarchy, and then 8647. So they started this whole thing after Trump came, less than an inch of having his head hit by an assassin's bullet. I mean, the Democrat, have you ever thought about how nasty these people are, Democrats? Have you ever really sat down and just, if you really sit down and you think about it, in the news today, because Freddie O'Connell and Afton Bain and Sandra Sepulveda, right? So we talk about them a lot. They are so concerned with Donald Trump. So I would like to ask the Democrat, in the news today, because Freddie O'Connell and Afton Bain and Sandra Sepulveda, right? So we talk about them a lot. What James Comey did and this 8647 dog whistle that we're seeing. What James Comey did and this 8647 dog whistle that we're seeing. I'd be curious to know. But, when you define a man like Donald Trump, when you define him as, well, then it's not a far stretch to say that you want him dead. I don't think that's rhetoric. I don't think that's, bloviating. I think that is something that is obvious. Just connect the dots. Here's more from Tulsi Gabbard.
So for Comey to think that we, the American people, are so stupid as to think that he, as a former FBI director, former prosecutor, and someone who clearly pays attention to what's going on, would believe his lie that he didn't know what this actually was calling for. The dangerousness of this cannot be underestimated. When we have 2 assassination attempts on the president's life, when we have people who look to guys like Comey, who've been celebrated by MSNBC and the Democrat elite and CNN as the beacon of integrity, the law and order guy, the guy who would tell the truth no matter what the consequences. This is the guy who's issuing a hit on President Trump, the president that the American people voted for. So it's guys like Comey and others who call the president the modern-day Nazi, people who are in great positions of influence, who are saying that President Trump poses an existential threat to our country.
Yep. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem writing on X that the issue is indeed under investigation. She said that Comey just called for the assassination of Donald Trump and added that her agency and the Secret Service are investigating this threat and will respond appropriately. Current FBI Director Kash Patel also said in a separate statement last night, we are well aware of the recent tweet by former FBI Director James Comey directed to President Trump. We are in communication with the Secret Service Director and Sean Curran Primary jurisdiction is with the Secret Service on these matters, and we, the FBI, will provide all necessary support.
There has to be accountability for this. There was a Rutgers study that just came out a little over a month ago that asked respondents their view on these calls to assassinate President Trump. And over 55% of respondents felt that murdering President Trump would be, quote unquote, somewhat justified. This is the effect of people like James Comey doing this kind of stuff. This study also pointed out that there is a quote-unquote assassination culture that is starting to take over the views of what they call the extreme left.
So there you go. So, by the way, some people are saying, yeah, but the, and by the way, who is this? 8512. And you're still giving James Comey publicity. Well, here's the deal, dude, at 8512. You think that, CNN is reporting this the way that I am? No, they're not. I think it was like maybe a 20 or 25 second blurb on CNN, when in the reality is that this is emblematic of the entire Democrat Party, in my opinion. Other people are saying, but 86 does not actually mean to kill or to assassinate. I grokked it, right? The term 86 does not inherently mean to kill. In restaurants, it can mean to remove an item from the menu. But in some contexts, particularly in pop culture or slang, 86 can be used to imply getting rid of someone or something more permanently, including killing. But that it is not the primary or original meaning. Can we just not play games? Everybody knows what 86 means in this context. Will he eventually be arrested? Probably not, frankly, but he should be. Will he actually spend time in jail? Probably not, but he should. Will anybody on the left, whether it is, local people like, Freddie O'Connell or Afton Bain or Sandra Sepulveda or any of these other folks, will they condemn what James Comey had to say? Probably not. Because quite frankly, they feel the same way. 7:56, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan Jones has the news coming up at 8. Joan.
Yeah, Dan, so what to expect from the storms that begin this afternoon and the drama over the Komodo dragon and the red croc in Memphis? Oh, that deserves some explanation.
The what?
The Komodo dragon and the red croc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you'll want to hear this story. It's kind of, it's
I want to hear that.
Coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, 7:57, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They want you to know that those TVA rebates, very popular, the TVA rebates, they have now been extended. So this month, mini split 17 SEER 2 or higher, that is going to get you an $800 rebate. You can also get up to 12 months, no payment and no interest, depending on your credit, and lender's offer may vary. Busy Bee has rebates on AC tune-ups, $50 rebate for each tune-up. Now, that's for both spring and fall. And, of course, as we've been telling you, that actually pays for your Beehive membership for the year. Now, Busy Bee also, they are hiring. This is big news. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they are hiring. So if you need a gig, if you work in plumbing or HVAC, check out my friends at Busy Bee. They actually have a hiring open house that is happening on May 31st. That is on a Saturday from 10 to 2. Have at least 3+ years of experience in plumbing and HVAC. They are hiring for both service and install departments. Pay range for these jobs range from $30 to $39 an hour. With health care benefits, 2 weeks PTO, office is closed on federal holidays and your birthday, and a whole lot more. From a personal standpoint, I'm just going to tell you that I have been working with Busy Bee for many, many, many years. They've been out to my house. I've been out with them at events, and I have never heard one person say one thing negative about Busy Bee that works for William and Brandon, the owners of Busy Bee. So check them out at 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. Find them online, busybehvac.com.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got to be weather aware this afternoon and tonight. Stefano DiPietro telling us the severe threat level is a 3 in most of the area and a 4 out of 5 in the areas north of I-40.
What exactly do those numbers mean to us? Well, when you start to get up into those higher end thresholds, it not only means that we have the likelihood of strong to severe thunderstorms, but it also means they're likely going to be more widespread and the intensity factor increasing as well.
Now, as far as a timeline, things should start around 4 this afternoon and run through the early morning hours tomorrow. Some people in Gallatin were allowed to go back into their homes early this morning. There had been a large police presence seen along Lock 4 Road near the boat ramp in Nichols Lane. It's not clear what was happening there. However, just a week ago, a man was shot and killed at the boat launch at Lock 4 Park. We'll continue to try to find out what was happening there. Police in Laverne have arrested a teenager, a minor, who took them on a pursuit last night that ended up in the Lake Forest subdivision. He was driving a van with 5 other people. He was arrested and charged with, among other things, kidnapping because of the handful of teens that he had in the car with him. The Sumner County school bus driver who crashed her bus in April, injuring students inside, is due in traffic court today. Channel 4's Alexandria Adams.
Tennessee Highway Patrol telling us the bus driver lost control, went into a creek, and then hit a bridge. The bus ended up flipping on its side. 5 students and the driver were hurt.
That driver was put on administrative leave. President Trump headed back to the U.S. after a whirlwind trip to the Middle East that ended with a successful stop in the United Arab Emirates.
The White House claiming $200 billion in deals and partnerships between the two nations, including a planned data center powered in part by American-made chips. The UAE announcing plans to invest $4 billion to develop an aluminum smelter project in Oklahoma.
ABC's Mary Bruce, the UAE also committing to building or financing data centers here in the U.S. And at the Memphis Zoo yesterday, someone threw a shoe over the wall and into the den of a Komodo dragon. It was a red croc. The Komodo dragon swallowed it, and officials at the zoo had to rush that animal into surgery and remove that croc from the animal's stomach. They say it will make a full recovery. The zoo didn't say whether they caught the shoe-throwing visitor. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Dow Jones Industrials futures right now. Let's see. The futures are up. They're up 271 points right now. And we've got NASDAQ futures gaining 41. The S&P futures are up 13 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, looks like we have traffic backing up this morning as you're traveling on 24 in the usual spots as you're making your way into Nashville. And an accident, too, near the Ryman at Commerce Street and 6th Avenue North. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. How are you? How are you? Welcome on into the fourth hour of Nashville's Morning News for a Friday, May 16th of 2025. All eyes on the sky all day long into tonight as well. Your complete forecast is coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan,
yeah.
Some people just don't get it.
What do they not get?
8512. So 8512 is hate texting me. because I'm talking about the whole 8647 thing. And I mentioned that James Comey has a book coming out, and it's coming out next week. And so that is possibly why he did what he did as inspiration. So 8512 says, why are you giving his book publicity? This is what it's like, right? 747. You just did give the book publicity. 750. And you're still talking about it. 754. And you're still giving him publicity. Time to move on. And he's and he
won't. He'll be here.
Well, all I'm saying is 8512. The point of bringing up James Comey's book is because that's part of the overall conversation, and maybe that's inspiration or the reason he did what he did, which is post 8647 in Seychelles. He wanted to get his name back in the news, and so if I didn't mention the book, Joan, I would have 50 people calling me an idiot because I didn't mention the fact that he's got a book coming out.
Yeah.
Not that I necessarily, care about, what people say, but it's just, there's a reason why we do what we do. There's a reason why I say some of the things that I say. Whatever. Obviously,
Somebody just posted 7679.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a lot of numbers going on here. Just posted, well, Dan, 86, 85, 12.
That's good.
Yeah,
86,
I like that.
85, 12. You know what? That should be our thing now. Is we're just going to 86. No, we're not going to 86 anyone. I appreciate 85, 12, and the fact that he listens and he cares enough to hate text me over and over again. The best part is when you get done with a segment and then you look to your left and you see all of the comments that people have left on the segment that you just did.
All the love notes.
There's some positive. There's some negative, and a lot of people simply want to add their 2 cents, which is actually Scott Sapicki sent me a text on my phone, and
did he well Dan you?
No, he didn't. He also did not tell me to have a good day. Remember that? Have a good day. Have a good day.
We have
Dan.
a full sentence of basically giving you the middle finger.
I know. You know what? We should have played that when he was in yesterday.
Yeah.
We should have played that. State Representative Scott Sapicki, do you stand by this comment? Well, you have a good day, Dan. Let's see here. 86, he says, is a mafia term for take them 8 miles out and put them 6 feet under.
Oh, and how does this person know about mafia terms?
Well, it's Scott Sapicki. He's a smart guy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Somebody also said that your average coffin is 8 feet long.
Okay.
But that's not true. I actually Googled that because it sounded a little long, unless it's for somebody really tall. Your average coffin is like 6.5 to 7 feet. But fact check me on that. But that's what I saw when I Googled that. I didn't Glock it. I Googled it. So anyway, there you go. We do have an update. The plane. So apparently now this whole conversation about, and you've got the Democrats hyperventilating on the plane, the gift from Qatar. And it turns out, at least according to some, that this was a discussion that started under the Biden administration. Have you seen this?
No.
So this is the Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, Republican, of course, from Oklahoma. And that's what he said on CNN to Jake Tapper.
The United States take a 747, but here's what's interesting to me. What the media isn't telling you, what no one's talking to you about, is this same 747 has been in negotiations for a year. The Biden administration is the one that started these conversations. It didn't start underneath the Trump administration. Why? Because we need a backup for Air Force One, because right now the President of the United States is flying around on a 40-year-old plane, and there is no backup for it. The backup we had, the airframe started having structural issues. No one's discussing that part. They're just discussing that the deal ended with President Trump. Maybe the media doesn't know. Maybe I'll give them a pass. Maybe you didn't know. I'll give you the pass. I'll give you a pass on that one. But the fact is, This conversation started with Qatar.
All right, so that's what Markwayne Mullen says.
Wow.
So have you seen anything that corroborates what Markwayne Mullen said?
No, but I do have something else.
Yes.
So ABC News, the reporter is Mary Bruce, has, posts regularly anti-Trump stories.
Yep.
So she began this story talking about the president's deals and his family. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Let me go back to the beginning of this.
Oh, is this please tell me this is not a Jared thing.
No,
Okay.
no, hang on.
The UAE, like all the countries visited this week, has growing ties to the Trump Organization, now run by the president's sons. And last month, Eric Trump inking plans for an exclusive Trump golf resort in Qatar.
So she sets it up by, of course, he's only there for the Trump family.
Oh, that is so silly.
And then she talks about the plane.
The president now heading back to the U.S. amid growing concern over his willingness to accept a $400 million luxury jet as a gift from the Qatari royal family.
So they're concerned about his willingness to accept, but he didn't accept. He didn't fly home with it.
No.
It's still in Qatar.
I don't even know. Did he even take a tour of it? I'm sure he took a tour of it.
And I have nothing on that. Like, I think, I wonder if it even exists. I know there's
Much
pictures
ado
of it.
about nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I'm glad I didn't spend, to be honest with you, Joan, I'm certainly glad that I didn't put a lot of effort into this storyline.
Yeah, but you did.
No, I didn't.
I think you
That
spent
took
a lot of time.
virtually nothing.
Okay.
Did I have way too much fun with Hervé Villachez?
I think you had a lot of fun with him.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, he is fun-sized, or he was fun-sized. Is he still alive? I
No.
don't think so.
No, he died.
He can't be. Okay. Anyway, so the plane apparently, this whole thing started under Joe Biden, and a lot of people are saying, well, the Democrats shoot first and think later. That is what the Democrats do, if you think about it. Have we done traffic?
No.
No. Okay, we got to do traffic. 8:15 on WTN.
The UAE.
(8:18) Nashville's Morning News. As far as your weather for today, a high of 87. Strong storms this afternoon, heading into tonight and the overnight as well. On Saturday, high of 88. Scattered showers on Sunday. High of 84 and scattered showers as well. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Some guy also a hater. He said that I agree with everything Donald Trump says and that I have no thoughts of my own, which is really dumb because it was not even an hour ago I said that I disagreed with one big beautiful bill, you dolt.
Ooh.
Called him a dolt. I'm breaking
Very
out the
good
big
word.
words.
Yeah.
I say to this guy,
You're out of order.
That's what I say to him. I'm sure he's really upset about that.
You are out of order.
There you go. All right. So apparently the whole plane thing was nothing but fake news, and the whole thing started under Joe Biden. We'll have to wait and see if the folks on the left, take back all of the nasty things that they said about Donald Trump. You know that they won't, and they're also trying to make this about. Let's go back to the conversation that Mary Bruce was having about how Trump goes to the Middle East and it's all for, like Trump Enterprises.
Yeah.
Where were they when it was clear that Hunter Biden was selling the influence of Joe Biden? Like, did they have anything to say about that when there was all of that influence peddling going on? They had absolutely nothing to say about that. And, the people on the left, and this is why I don't really pay much attention to them anymore, because quite frankly, they're just stupid. I mean, they are just dumb. And so part of this is that they won't be happy until the president is 86th. I truly believe that. They won't be happy until the president is 86th. And even if he is, whether he is impeached, eliminated, assassinated, whatever it is, they'll never stop because then they'll go after his family. They'll go after anyone in the Trump administration. You think it's going to end with Donald Trump? No. Once Donald Trump is out of the picture one way or another, because he's only going to serve 2 terms, he has actually said that, then they'll go after J.D. Vance. They'll go after Marco Rubio. You see, the Democrats, they know how to do this now. They know how to impeach. They're not afraid to impeach, even if they know that there's no point because he'll be saved in the Senate. They know how to impeach. They also know how to assassinate. They know how to assassinate someone politically speaking, assassinate someone's character as well. And they're not going to condemn someone who is literally calling for the assassination of the president James Comey, when he puts in shell forms 8647. It just, the whole thing. And again, I can't say it enough. And it's like an ongoing theme for the last, really since 2016, where the Democrats, they are revolting. I mean, look at whether it's on the national stage or it's locally here, where you have the mayor and you have people from the state legislation, the Metro City Council, literally siding with gang members and rapists and murderers. That's what they've done. And the people of Nashville will vote these people right back in. And that is what is so dismaying to me, is that you say, okay, well, they're blinded by whatever it is. They're completely misguided. But certainly the entire Democrat Party doesn't really side with gang members and drug dealers and murderers and rapists and convicted child predators. Certainly that's just an out-of-touch political thing, right? The good people of Nashville or America, they wouldn't support that kind of thinking. You mark my words that the people in Nashville, they will not make Freddie O'Connell pay politically for siding with the illegal alien gang members or all of those people that I just mentioned. I guarantee you that Afton Bain and Sandra Sepulveda, they will be rewarded by their party in the next election. I guarantee you. And that's what makes me utterly sick, is that roughly half of the people in America, or a smaller portion of people here in the state of Tennessee, side and approve of that kind of horrific thinking. It's really sad when you think about it. 8:23, and it's time to check in with Joan. Joan, what's coming up at 8:30?
Well, you may have heard about this. We've got some severe weather headed our way. We've got the timeline and just exactly how severe Stefano believes it will be today and tonight. It's coming up here in the news at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here. Listen, if you are new to Nashville, maybe you've been here for a long time, but bottom line is, if you need reliable garbage pickup, call my friends at J&J Services. You need a roll-off, they can help you with that too. There's a lot of companies out there, but J&J Services, they've been around for 20 plus years. And if you throw it away, they're going to take it. Now, regular weekly trash pickup, if that's what you need, they are here for you. Construction sites, roll-offs, dumpster rental, even commercial trash compactor services. You can toss it or crush it with J&J Services. They'll work with you on pickup times, and yes, they are reliable as well. They'll supply you with porta potties if you have an event too. They do all kinds of things at J&J Trash. 2 decades of taking out the trash in Middle Tennessee. Call them for a free quote. J&J Services, 615-599-7778, 615-599-7778, JandJServices.com. J&J Services, where they always keep it trashy. Got a lot more coming right up. You know, history had the gold rush and the oil boom and the tech boom, but right now it is the Wi-Fi boom. And the Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Streaming booming, gaming booming, video calls booming, and now you can get Xfinity Internet and mobile together in one all-in plan. It is the ultimate power couple. Wi-Fi Power Boost from Xfinity Mobile gives you faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds at home and on the go. So your Wi-Fi is booming wherever you are. Now through June 23rd, new customers can get 400 megabit Xfinity Internet with free equipment and unlimited internet data, and get one unlimited 5G mobile line included, all in one plan, all for $40 a month for 1 year. So whether you're working, watching, or panning for Wi-Fi Gold, one thing is for sure, Xfinity's Wi-Fi is booming. Find them online, xfinity.com, to learn more. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply, taxes, fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabyte of data usage. Data thresholds vary. After 1 year, rate increases to $110 a month. After 2 years, regular rates apply to all services, up to $143 a month. Actual speeds vary.
Where do you want to go first?
So we have a big woodpecker story coming up, Chris, in our big 835 segment.
Huge woodpecker story. It's becoming a bit of a problem for one town.
How many woodpeckers could a woodpecker chuck if it chucked?
Just go to news.
All right, news now. It's Super Talk.
Good morning. It's now 8:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. It is a stormy Friday. Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro on what to expect.
Across the mid-state late today and heading into our night tonight. Heavy rain, high wind gusts, really going to be a big threat with any thunderstorm that develops. Storms could also have some hail, and that tornado threat is certainly there. A couple of isolated tornadoes will be possible.
Keep it here on WTN, and we will keep you updated. An American proposal is on the table for Iran, and President Trump says Iran knows to act on this quickly.
I know they have to move quickly, or something bad's going to happen.
He was speaking while on board Air Force One as he's departing the Middle East, and he's promising progress in the Russia-Ukraine war, too.
President Trump, during his Middle East tour, saying he wants to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin, quote, as soon as we can set it up to try to negotiate an end to Russia's war in Ukraine. Delegates from Russia and Ukraine meeting for the first time in over 3 years for direct negotiations. This, at least, a glimmer of light.
ABC's Ian Pannell reporting a trans-identifying activist who goes by the name of Roxy Wolf has been arrested and charged for making repeated death threats against Congresswoman Nancy Mace. His real name is Samuel Theodore Kane. Mace says she's been receiving death threats since filing bills to protect women's spaces. Here she is sparring with someone during a congressional hearing.
Ms. Goss-Graves, do women have penises?
So, again, I believe that women...
Democrats have gone so crazy. Women can have penises. That's not a thing. That's not biology. It's not science. And you sound like a lunatic.
And the women...
Mace telling Fox News she hopes that they have makeup wipes in prison for the trans man who was arrested. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Stocks now beginning to trade, and the Dow Jones Industrials are down 65 at the start here. The NASDAQ is up 31. We've got the S&P 500 index trading up 3 points. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:32, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Dan Mandis here from my carpet cleaning company, Zero Res. Now, I've been a client for years and years. One big reason is they really do help my allergies. Now, you know that carpet is the number one air filter inside your home. It does filter out airborne particulates, pollen, bacteria, you name it. Zero Res is going to filter out that bad stuff so you can keep your filter clean. And Zero Res does this better than anyone. They don't use any harsh chemicals. They don't use any soaps. Just powered water that leaves behind soft and fluffy carpets. Now remember, a clean filter means a healthier home. Here in allergy season, that is critical for you and your family. Now they don't raise their prices at Zero Res, just so you know. They haven't done that in years. And every month, they have a new offer to save you money. Right now, 2 rooms of carpets clean for just $109, and you get a free hallway plus 25% off of area rugs. Restrictions may apply. Call them 615-535-9376, ZeroResNashville.com. $8:34 in Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. I wanted to 86 it, Chris. Oh. What I'm talking about coming up. Preparing to sell your home can be costly and time-consuming. Skip the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home stress-free with the guaranteed offer from my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate. Say goodbye to the stress that comes with showings, open houses, and costly home repairs. My friends at Mark Spain Real Estate, they are going to sell your home fast and for maximum value. If you're thinking about selling your home, you can receive an all-cash guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Now, one of their clients, Tyra, had this to say. Thanks to Mark Spain Real Estate, our home had several cash offers within 24 hours of it being on the market. We closed in less than a month. Now, with their guidance in the transaction, it was more seamless than we had ever hoped. Now, selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you're ever going to make. So, who you work with matters. With over 12,500 five-star reviews, trust the top real estate team in America to sell your home for top dollar. Call them 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD, markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
There's a crash in Hendersonville on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, the westbound lanes at New Shackle Island Road. Also, Hermitage Chandler Road at Old Lebanon Dirt Road. That's an accident scene at the Ryman Commerce Street at 6th Avenue North. An accident reported there, and another one involving injuries at Fort Negley Boulevard at Chestnut Street. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:36. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so you can stop texting. It's not a woodpecker that chucks wood or whatever. It's a woodchuck.
No, but the thing is that the woodchuck doesn't chuck wood.
But a woodpecker pecks wood.
Yes, but the whole thing about the woodchuck is how much wood would a woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck could chuck wood, a woodchuck would chuck all the wood he could chuck if he could chuck wood.
I'm impressed.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
You can tell I have little ones.
I guess. And so, yeah, I shanked it from the very beginning. You ever actually had to deal with a woodpecker?
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan at all.
I want to 86 the woodpecker that is outside of my home and my bedroom. It's like all the time.
You want to take them out completely?
I do, but I've got to go back to the Glock store and get better training because I want to take out the woodpecker that is pecking wood outside of my bedroom.
I know how you can take care of it, though.
How's that, Joan?
I just ordered this device because I have problems with birds, too. But there's a device that creates a sound that only birds can hear. It's not something human ears can hear. And it makes a sound that drives them away. So
I thought you were going to say something with an electromagnetic pulse to fry the wiring.
You could do that, too.
Wow. And you were telling me...
Birds aren't real. So there's a story in Massachusetts... There's a story in Massachusetts where woodpeckers are invading this little neighborhood and they're destroying the side mirrors on cars.
Oh, wow.
Why?
So they say that, all right, so 24 cars, 24 cars have had their mirrors shattered in Rockport, Massachusetts, because this woodpecker keeps going onto the cars and seeing another woodpecker in the mirror. And they say that birds get, a little bit defensive when they see each other in the reflection, but it's not something woodpeckers normally do.
Yeah.
So scientists figured out, and I quote, we realize that this woodpecker might be a little stupid. I swear.
Does that mean that other woodpeckers are smart?
I guess so. I think you would have to assume that.
Yeah. I guess. That's pretty funny.
Did you see, speaking of funny, you see Donald Trump's Truth Social post a little while ago?
No.
He said, he just posted this on Truth Social. He's on his way back from the Middle East, so he's deep in thought.
A lot going on.
And he just posted, has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, she's no longer hot? He's right,
Is he right?
And I don't think he means like hot isn't attractive. I mean like the hot thing.
Oh.
It's in quotations.
Whether or not Taylor Swift is physically attractive is actually something that friends and I have had great debates over.
It's subjective.
It is very subjective. It is incredibly subjective.
How do you guys stand on this?
Chris?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Okay.
Dan?
What about you?
I'm going to be honest. I thought she was cuter when she was younger.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like 14 or 15. I'm saying that when she was in her early 20s, now she's just all like glammed up and stuff, and she keeps talking. There's that part too.
So you like your women not to talk. Got it.
Philly Joan emerges with a gut punch.
She strikes again. I like my women silent. If you want a new country artist to check out, I'm gonna have Mary Cutter in studio today, and she is fantastic.
Dude, it's guitar.
Oh,
Nice one.
She put out a song, a brand new song dropped today called "The Devil Wore a Lab Coat." And it's all about the opioid crisis and pharmaceuticals killing people in
I thought it was about
Kentucky.
Fauci.
I was going to say that too, Joan.
I mean, you could definitely say it might be about Fauci.
Okay, very good. And it's a song and it's out?
Yeah, it's out now on all the streaming platforms called The Devil Wore a Lab Coat. It is a banger. So she's going to join us at the top of the hour.
Is she going to sing?
Yeah, she's going to sing the song.
Nice.
Is she going to be in studio?
Yeah, she's going to be in studio.
Oh, very cool.
She's got a couple other songs that she's going to sing too, but we're gonna open and close with the new one. But my greatest accomplishment on this is that I scooped Glenn Beck.
Really?
Glenn has her on Monday. But she's doing the Chris Hand show first.
Don't you love that?
I do.
All right, very good.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. We got a big show, and then Savannah Hernandez is going to be on today.
I'll give you $5 if you introduce her as Qatar.
Listen, everybody has a price, but mine is not that low.
All right. Bruce Springsteen. Now, I know that...
have you noticed he's not hot since Trump said he hated him?
I've noticed that, actually. So Bruce Springsteen said this. It was in Europe.
In my home, the America I love, the America I've written about, that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous...
There you go. Way to go, Bruce. Real portrait and courage there as he goes to Europe to bash our president. So
that's nice.
Yeah, that's Bruce Springsteen there. Well, Kid Rock had a few things to say about this. He was on with Jesse Waters. I think this was last night, but he was on with Jesse Waters.
First of all, let's break it down. Pound for pound, when it comes to heartland rock and roll, Bruce Springsteen's made some good songs. I'll give him that. Bob Seger smokes them any day of the week.
All day.
In my book. I mean, Bruce Springsteen's another one of these liberals who has mountains of money that so desperately wants to keep his good standing in the eyes of Hollywood and the elite, but plays like this working class guy. You know what I mean? His politics are so ass backwards. I mean, just stay in Europe, Bruce. Have fun.
Dude, he's so right.
That's what I would say, too.
Bob Seger's the man.
Mm-hmm.
So when we lived in Detroit, Bob Seger was on Capitol Records, and my wife was working for Capitol. So we would go to the Pistons games because we were pretty close, and you could pay whatever you want because the Pistons were awful. So you'd pay like $4 for tickets, and then you'd go sit wherever you want. So this is the first time we met Bob Seger because we paid for $4 tickets, and then we went and we sat in Bob Seger's seats.
You did not.
Yes. So then all of a sudden Bob Seger walks up.
Who's from Detroit.
Yeah, he's from Detroit, and he doesn't say a word. He just sits down next to us. And Virginia was pregnant with Kennedy, and she had this bad habit of sneaking in cookies with her wherever she went. So she had snuck in a bag of homemade cookies to this Detroit Pistons game. When Bob saw the bag of homemade cookies, he ate all of the cookies.
Are you kidding?
I swear to you.
It was the price of admission.
I
For you
swear.
to sit in
Well,
the
you
seats.
were sitting in a seat.
Yeah.
It was the funnest game we've ever been to.
Please tell me you got a picture.
No, because we don't want to be weird because like she was working with him.
Oh, God.
They hadn't been introduced yet. We had just got to Detroit. And so she's like, he's on my label. Let's just be chill. And,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's funny.
But we got to watch
Did she ever get to meet him later on?
Oh, yeah. She knows
Did
all
he remind
those guys.
her of her incredible cookies?
Yes. It's a big topic of conversation whenever Virginia and Bob get together. It's Virginia's cookies always seem to come up.
But I very much do agree that Springsteen sucks and Seger rules.
Yep.
And you know what? Rock and roll never forgets.
Never, Dan.
Thank you.
Never.
Don't know why I did that. Whatever. Moving right along.
Rock and roll never forgets. This isn't Joe Biden we're talking about. It's rock and roll, damn it.
Exactly right. So we have these just going back to Bruce Springsteen. Kid Rock is talking about some of these other bands that have decided to go off to other countries, like the Dixie Chicks, and blast America and blast an American president.
Well, remember how this worked out for the Dixie Chicks a few years ago?
Yeah. They had to change their name.
Yeah, I think they changed their name to the Chicks, and then another country band, Lady Antebellum, changed their name to Lady A.
Yep.
So I actually went and got the domain name in case I ever want to do a country record. And my country band will be called Dixie Antebellum.
There you go. Gotta love it. Kid Rock.
So good. Mm-hmm. Was he wearing the Evel Knievel suit?
No, he was not wearing the Evel Knievel suit on Jesse Waters. I think I've got a picture with him in the Evel Knievel suit. We did that day that Brian and I did that. I think it was the day that Brian and I did that early morning remote at his then new restaurant. And there he was, and he was wearing a very glittery thing. Perhaps that was the Elvis Presley suit.
He wore that to the White House, didn't he?
Yep, he wore it to the Oval Office. I feel like it's a missed opportunity now if he doesn't wear the suit.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Like he could just have a closet full of those, and that would be okay for Kid Rock.
Yes. Well, let's be honest. Anything is okay with Kid Rock.
This is true.
Dude rocks. By the way, he also said one more thing, which I'm a little nervous about playing. I did it very quietly in the 5 o'clock hour, but there's a lot more people listening now. But he spoke about the the rallies, the anti-Trump rallies that have been going on.
Listen, I was just watching your clips, and we have this low birth rate in America, and it all made sense to me. It just hit me right now, because who's going to sleep with these ugly-ass, broke, crazy, deranged TDS liberal women? I mean, you look at these rallies, it's like a bunch of women that no guy wants to sleep with and a bunch of dudes that want to sleep with each other.
That's what he said.
Yep.
Joan, what do you got? Comment on that? No, nobody was said. Moving right along. I don't know.
I don't think there was any lies.
I said earlier, fact check true. Yeah. All right. Chris.
Dan.
Did you see Donald Trump fall asleep?
No.
And I think it was Saudi Arabia or one of those places.
He fell asleep?
He did. He fell asleep for about 2 seconds. Now,
he even twitched. Yeah.
Yeah, he even twitched. And he woke up kind of like with a start, like, oh, crap, I fell asleep. I pulled a Biden. So now there's some people that are defending the president and saying that he did not sleep. It's very quick. But I'm telling you that he did. All right. Now, you haven't seen the video, but I don't care that he slept. I don't care that Donald Trump fell asleep. Have you seen the man's schedule?
Yeah.
And that chair looked really comfy. So there's that, too.
Was it the one wrapped in, like, all gold?
I think it was.
I think they're all wrapped in gold over there.
I was going to, Joan's got a great point. In the Middle East, everything's gold.
The decor is unbelievable.
Yeah, but now they're trying to make, the Democrats are trying to make hashtag Sleepy Trump happen.
Because, again, the Democrats can't create anything new of their own.
That's exactly right. So now, on top of that, and he did, and I'm just saying, folks, he did fall asleep, and I don't care.
I mean, he got trillions of dollars in investment.
Right. He's got what, 1.4 trillion from the United Arab Emirates, 1.2 from Qatar, and 600 billion from Saudi Arabia.
I believe it's Qatar.
Ask your guest at 9.
Okay.
This is Lawrence O'Donnell, because the Dems are now saying that not only is it Sleepy Donald, but he's also now losing his mind.
Oh, it's cognitive decline? Is that where we're going?
Dementia Don.
America is, at this hour, completing the 52nd day of having a president of the United States whose brain does not work. Donald Trump's brain is broken, badly damaged.
So that is Lawrence O'Donnell.
Badly damaged.
He always sounds so serious. Like, you ever notice the way that he speaks?
Angry.
It is so filled with self-importance.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
You remember Omarosa?
Oh, I do.
All right. She also is trying to find relevance by talking about Donald Trump's state of mind.
Donald was unable to recall basic figures. He would forget the name of his cabinet members. He would forget key details of policy issues that we were talking about as we were preparing for him to go out on stage. This was after he was briefed.
You know, I wish that he would have forgotten her.
So do you think that this is actually what they believe, or do you think that there's a strategy to skew the search results when you Google president with cognitive decline?
I think that this is a strategy. I think that they don't have anything else.
Just moments before. The reason Donald Trump is canceling these interviews is that when he starts to stumble, he starts to pivot. He wants to talk about you. He'll start attacking you, Laura, instead of talking about policy issues because he can't recall what they are. And that's what you're seeing in his decline right now.
Such air of importance from Omarosa there. So, I mean, obviously, they're grasping at straws. They have nothing. But here's the thing, is that Donald Trump is 78, going to be 79 in June. But if you've seen his videos with Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, he is, and I hate to say it, but he's sharp as a tack. But but not in a Joe Biden kind of way. This is one more guy, and again, from MSNBC, Timothy O'Brien.
Donald Trump has aged. He's turning 79 in June. He lives in fear of going down the path his father went down, which was dementia followed by Alzheimer's into his 90s. And I think he's carried that burden forever. And watching how he answers questions now, compared to Donald Trump and Trump 1.0, he slurs his words a little. He looks weary. He is slouched.
I don't know what video are they watching?
You said that was CNN?
No, it was MSNBC.
Okay.
Yeah.
These people are just a
Well,
mess.
let's just be honest, right? So they have no leg to stand on. They have no credibility whatsoever after watching and denying that Joe Biden was asleep at the wheel for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and
So-
they've been lying about President Trump for 100 days now. Did you see the CNN headline that's been floating around?
No.
It said, for months, Trump falsely claimed that egg prices were tumbling. That fiction has suddenly become reality.
Oh, my gosh.
They pushed that out. That was a push notification headline.
Seriously?
For months, Trump falsely claimed that egg prices were tumbling. That fiction has suddenly become reality.
Oh, my Lord. They're just...
So even when Donald Trump tells the truth,
yeah,
he was lying and this is a coincidence.
Well, I think the reason why I'm confused is because literally egg prices were dropping. I mean, you could see it. You could feel it. You when you went to the store, you could see the charts and the graphs and everything else. So I don't understand. Well, it's fake news CNN, so I don't know why I'm confused. Anyway, so there you go. That is what's going on. Complete and utter confusion. I think we just lost Chris.
Sorry, my guest arrived.
Are we going to have to? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'll do the joke about Qatar versus Qatar. Like I'll totally do that. I'll totally do it.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
all right, got to go. 8:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Jones. Very quickly.
Yeah, we've got those storms today, and we'll give you the timeline and how severe we think it's going to be. Coming up at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mendes here. Listen, if you own a BMW, an Audi, a Mercedes-Benz, a Porsche, any other European car, I've got great news for you. There's a great place to now have your car fixed and serviced. It is called Renstall. They are here in Nashville, and they are committed to excellence and driven to serve. Now, this is dealer-level service, but family-level care, honest pricing, not a corporate mindset, just a family business helping out our neighbors and friends by delivering honesty, respect, and exceptional service. Now, they proudly offer the Heroes Service Discount. Veterans, active duty military, first responders, and emergency medical personnel get a 10% discount on all repairs. This is the kind of company that you should take your car to. If it's a European car, they specialize in all European vehicles. They are accepting appointments. Call them, 615-777-7100. Immediate appointments are available, 615-777-7100. The website, itrustmymechanic.com, itrustmymechanic.com. 8:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, people sharing their Bob Seger memories and moments. I saw Bob Seger, Joan, on his last ever tour. It was absolutely incredible. Much better than the Bruce Springsteen concert that I also went to. And he just kind of, you know. I mean, can I be honest? Like, and Murphy was talking about this yesterday, and he was right. Which is, I think, did I say this earlier? You can't understand half of what Bruce Springsteen sings.
Right.
It's like, when did it become acceptable for mumbling as a singer? Isn't
it wasn't always that way, though?
No?
I don't think so. I think he's just gotten older.
I guess. I mean, yeah, you recognize, Born in the USA. You can understand those vocals. But I just don't think he's a very good singer. Like I never understood Dylan. I never understood, the popularity of Bruce Springsteen. Because if you're such a great poet, I'd say this about like Bob Dylan or Bruce Springsteen. If you're such a great poet, right? Well, how do people know? Because you can't understand.